building your organization. So just to get an idea of who I'm talking to, how many directors do we have in the room? Raise your hand if you're a director. Okay, and then how many advanced directors do we have in the room? And senior directors? Okay, and I'm not going to ask above that because then I'll just get intimidated. So we'll start from there. All right. So first of all, I want to tell you guys, I'm an executive director. My name's Carpenter, and I've been with Pampered Chef for 18 years. I'm pretty sure I started when I was around 12. And so, but for the first 10 years of my business, I had a great business. I loved my business, and it was different things at different times. Sometimes it was just easy extra money. It was all about learning how to cook, getting some products when I started. So there weren't these great business goals or anything when I started. But it really helped my family over the years with things when we needed extra money for things. So it was different things at different times to my family. And then it did become our sole income for 3 solid years. My Pampered Chef business was our sole income when my husband had gone back to school. So it did meet a lot of different needs. But around the 10-year mark, I want to share with you guys that I got really frustrated with where I was. Because I had always said, well, you know, once I kind of got in and saw the bigger picture and stuff, I'd always said that I wanted to be an executive leader with the company and build to that. And after 10 years, I just took a real hard look at my business, and I was not where I wanted to be. And I was really frustrated. And I don't know if any of you are sitting there frustrated with where you are. And I think the director level in our company is one of the best places to be. And if you're a director and you're really happy with that, I'm not up here talking to you about moving your business somewhere where you don't want to go. But listen to a couple of things I say today, because we all have different goals, and that's important to focus on your goals. But my goal was to move forward in the business, and I just wasn't, and I couldn't understand why I wasn't. And so I had to take a real hard look at, you know, why I had said I wanted to be an executive director, but why wasn't I there, and why wasn't I really getting any closer to that? I was, you know, I mean, you can't really do this business for 10 years and not be okay at selling and doing some parties and recruiting some people. I mean, I had built some skills to do that, but I just couldn't seem to move past where I was. And I took a real hard look at where I was, and that's a hard thing to do, because a lot of times when you're not moving forward, it was me that was the reason I was not moving forward. And I had to look at what I was doing, and I said I wanted to be an executive director and above in the company, but when I really looked at what I was doing, I wasn't doing the right things to move myself to that place. And so that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, to realize that you're the reason that you're not going where you want to go. So I had to get out of my own way. And also there were things that I didn't know to do, so I had to find out what I needed to do. So that 10-year mark was a real turning point in my business, where my little boy had turned 1, and I had kind of stepped my business back a little bit because my husband had got out of school and gone back to work. So it was kind of that point where my income wasn't as dependent as it had been for a while, so my business took a little step back when I had a baby. But then it was, you know, law school loans were due when my husband was out of school, and medical bills were due from having a baby and some health issues the first year. And so by the end of that year, we had mounted up some debt, and then the income need was back. And so then it was like, well, am I going to go back to work, or am I going to make this work? And so that was kind of the big turning point in my business. And I don't know about y'all, but after working for yourself for so many years, I wasn't really interested in going back to work for somebody else. The same thing that we heard about earlier, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So I really didn't want to go back to work for someone else. But I had to figure out a way to make this work. And that was the turning point was what was my career going to be? What was I going to do with the rest of my life? And so through a lot of prayer and you know, a hard look at where I was and what I was doing, I decided this was going to be my career, and this is what I was going to do with my life. But I had to figure out how to do it. That's where I was at a loss. So I started networking and reaching out and going to things like this and finding people and sitting with the people that were where I wanted to be and asking questions and finding out what they were doing and what was working for them. And all the ideas that I share with you today, none of these are my ideas. They're all ideas I get from everybody else, all of you guys. And one thing I am good at is getting that idea and going home and trying it. I'll try anything. I mean, virtual parties, I'm not interested in virtual parties, but do I do virtual parties? Yes. That's not like my thing, but it's a great growth tool for our team, so why not? So, you know, those I'll try anything. So I'll get ideas and go try them and either figure out how to tweak them to work for my team if it's not working to start with, you know, or figure it out enough to train my team to the people that it will work for. Because there's, you know, we all use different things in our businesses that work well. So I really set out to learn from the best in the company and, you know, the people that were making it happen. and figure out what it was that I wasn't doing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know sometimes we see those upper level leaders in the company and we're like, yeah, but I could never be there, I could never do that. Every single one of you can do anything you want to with your business. And you know, whether your goal is to build more leaders, to build directors on your team or not, one thing I want you to really think about is, how has directorship affected your life? How would your life be different if you weren't a director with a Pampered Chef? And I am pretty sure that every single person sitting in this room could tell a story about how being a director in this company has changed your life that would bring tears to our eyes. I mean, it's really powerful to be a part of this company and this family at this level. And like, I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't want to just do this business as a consultant. It's so much better as a director. There's so many more benefits. So whether your goal is to move up to advanced or senior, executive or national, still, why wouldn't you want to develop leaders on your team? Why wouldn't you want to give other people the same gift that you've been given? My life is incredibly different because someone shared this business with me, and because I was able to build a team and do this with other people. It's so much more fun to have another director on your team to work with and do things with. And so there's just so many, it's a huge gift to offer directorship to people, just like it's a huge gift to offer our business to people. So no matter what your goals are, be open to, you know, sharing leadership on your team. Don't say, oh, that's not a goal of mine. It doesn't really matter where you want to go in the business. Be open to sharing leadership with other people, because this is so powerful to change people's lives. And yes, our business changes people's lives, but leadership in this company, I think, is even more powerful. So I just encourage you to be open to what you hear today, because you have the power to touch so many people's lives by giving them not just the gift of this business, but the gift of leadership in this business. So just some things that, I'm just gonna give you my kind of top tips on developing leaders, because I spent 10 years not developing leaders, okay? And so I think that anything that we do in this business is can be learned, okay? I don't think you have to have any special gift. Look around, we all have different talents, okay? I don't think we have to have any special gift to be the one that, you know, rises to the top in this company and gets to where you want to go. We can all learn everything that we need to do, and I am proof of that, because I did not really have the skill of working with others, developing others, building belief in others. I just didn't even get it, and so I had to go get that. That was what I was really missing, and I had to learn how to do it. So I'm proof that you learn how to do anything in this business, because that is not something that I had. And so these are some of the top tips for where to start with developing leaders on your team. First of all, it starts with a strong personal business, okay? If you haven't been recruiting and haven't been having a strong personal business and haven't been adding people to your team in the past year, then you probably don't have a pool of people to work with to develop leaders, right? And so, you know, many times I'm in that place and where I have to rebuild and bring in new people. So it's important to have a strong personal business, and it's important to be always bringing people in so that you have those new people to work with. So that kind of starts with us, you know, the whole bringing enough people in, that starts with us. And then getting your team on board to have that big recruiting going on your team, because of course the more people you're bringing in, the more people you have to work with to develop leaders. Being a strong recruiter, and I was having a conversation with a director on our team this year, and just a couple months ago, and the conversation, I had a real aha when I had this conversation with her. She told me that she had gone to a training and that she had kind of realized where her, that she was looking at recruiting wrong, and she was just kind of sharing with me some ahas she had and how she was going to start looking at recruiting differently. And you know, that she had kind of been in a recruiting slump. So we started talking about this recruiting slump. She hadn't recruited in quite a while, a good number of months. So we started talking about this recruiting slump. And so then I was just listening to her talk and how she was going to change her thinking, and it just kind of dawned on me, it hit me. And so I asked her, I said, well, how many people, she had recruited someone that month. And I said, how many people did you ask to join your team this month? How many people did you share the business with? She got real quiet. A few minutes later, she said, one. And I said, let me guess. That's such and such who signed up. And she said, yes. And I said, well, how many people do you think you asked the month before? She got real quiet and she said, probably none. And I said, I don't think you have a recruiting problem. I think you have an asking problem. And this was a huge aha to me, that anytime we have a bookings problem or a recruiting problem, I think the bottom line is we have an asking problem, okay? And it's the same thing with all of our consultants. when they don't have bookings, my guess is they didn't ask anybody, okay? And yes, this is a numbers game, and you do have to ask more people. But when we really went back and looked over those like 5 months that she hadn't recruited, she's like, you're exactly right, I didn't ask anybody. So that was a big aha. So if you're not recruiting the numbers that you want, look at the people you're asking. I'm pretty sure you'll see a correlation there. So my biggest recruiting tip to give you today is to ask more people, okay? So whoever the top recruiter is in this room for last year, I guarantee you they asked more people than me and you did, okay? So that's my big recruiting tip. And you can't develop directors without recruiting, so that's a great place to start, is asking more people. Then as people are coming on your team, it's important to plant seeds of directorship. And think about this. We all plant seeds of bookings at our shows, right? We plant seeds of recruiting at our shows. Why not plant seeds of directorship at your shows and right as people are coming into the business? And directorship isn't something that people need to be in the business a year, 2 or 3 and arrive and then decide to go for directorship. So the fast track program is so important to get in front of people. We have a lot of people on our team that do come in fast track, but we have a lot of people that come in and work on fast track, and they might not make it in the 3 months, but when they promote in 6 months or a year, they never would have promoted then had we not started them on that goal right when they started, okay? That's really important to get that in front of people. So where does it all start? I really think that directorship is all about the show. I don't think it's all about recruiting. And what I mean by that is a director has to have the skills to carry a good show schedule. You can't be a director in this business if you can't book shows, okay? So I've seen people come up on our team that, they had some bookings and then they had some excitement with recruiting and they made directorship, but then they didn't know how to control their show calendar and can keep a consistent show schedule. And I've never, ever lost a director on our team that had a good show, that, was booking shows. Usually, if you're booking shows, your directorship's not in jeopardy. You just book more shows, or you and your team book more shows. And when people lose directorship, it's because they don't have a show calendar. Would y'all not agree? There might be other reasons as to why they don't have a show calendar, but it's because they don't have a show calendar. So I feel like that's the key. So something that I'm going to share with you that I'm doing a little different this year, and those of you that have heard me speak before know kind of what our team's done over the years to build to where we are. I'm big on leading director-bound groups because that's how I've always promoted directors, is leading director-bound groups. And I remember one time when we kind of got in a slump and weren't growing, and Judy Joel was like, well, what were you doing that was working that you're not doing now? Oh, well, I don't know why. It's been a year since I went at a director-bound meeting. It was the big aha I had, so I went back to doing that. And that's how we've always promoted people. But something that has really kind of hit me this past year looking at this was sometimes it's hard to get people to say they want to be a director, okay? Because it's a scary thing, and people are afraid of failure. They're afraid to publicly say that goal, and then they might not make it. They might feel like they don't have what it takes to be a director, so they don't even have the confidence to say the goal. So something that I'm starting to do now is focus on the skill first. And I even heard some other people saying this in conversations this weekend. But to get people to join a skill type group to build their bookings and build their confidence. So right now I'm running 6 weeks to success, and I'll share this with Nancy Joe and get this put out. Jennifer Courtney, is it Jennifer Parks Courtney? I know some of you guys are getting under this. Okay, what I love about this is it's a training I didn't have to write. It's all done. Yeah. She did a great job. So there's a whole 6 weeks to success course that Jennifer Courtney took from some of the director-bound stuff, but it's not focused on director. It's just focused on the skills. It does have something about recruiting in there. It's taking a lot from the company, but she just kind of simplified it, dumbed it down a little bit, and made it more of a skill course. So what I'm doing right now is offering that first, and then the pool of people that come into that, I'm really making that about, who wants a solid show schedule? Who wants 8 or more shows every single month? Who wants to be making $500 or $1,000 every single month? Who wants to get on track to earn a trip? So I'm not making it about directorship. I'm making it about, the other things that people want. Get them into that course that teaches them how to book a good solid show schedule, how to be in control of their schedule and always have bookings. And then from there, the people that rise to the top out of those 6 weeks, then I will pull those people and work with them in a true director bound course. Does that make sense? So all year, my plan is to run 6 weeks to success and then pull people from that. And then as I'm running this director bound program and promoting those, I have new people coming in. So by the time I finish that, we'll be ready to run another 6 weeks to success course. And the other thing I really like about the 6 weeks to success course, because it's already done and written, any of my directors can run it. So I feel like when I would run big calls for my whole team, I feel like it, just for our team, it doesn't seem to work as well because there's not that big accountability and people cannot call in and they're not missed, and it doesn't have that accountability to get people in there. But when you work with a small group of people, 3 to 5, 6, 8 people, and those people don't show up to the call, it's very noticeable. So I can build those stronger relationships working in those smaller groups with people. So that's how I like to train. So I like that we've got this 6 weeks to success that all the directors can run with their people in these smaller groups and build those relationships. And building directors it's about the show schedule, then about teaching recruiting skills. But we can help anybody recruit that has a good show schedule because it's a numbers game and they're in front of enough people. And remember, it's just an asking problem, so we just need them to ask enough people. And but I feel like the other part of directorship is the relationships. It's so important to build relationships with these people, and working in those smaller groups allows you to do that. So that's kind of what I'm focused on this year is the skill course to really teach the good skills and I can tell you those the consultant. I started this last 6 weeks to success that I'm running. We started it the second week of December, and we're getting ready to do our last phone call. Of course, we took a break the week of Christmas, but I have new girls that just started their business the end of November or mid-November that have 10 and 12 bookings for January that are in this course. Wow. One of the new girls that started, her first month was December. She sold $3,600, and she's under one of the other girls that was already taking the course that said, hey, can my new girl take this? And so Jennifer was taking the course. She said, can my new girl take this, Amanda? So Amanda had a phenomenal month, and then Jennifer is in line to promote to director this month because her people kind of fed into that course when she invited them to take it with her. So her team did $4,600 in December, and she had the 3 new team members in December that were all active. Now those 3 team members are already active this month, and she has 15 bookings. One of her team members has 10, the other ones have 3, so we just need to sign a few more team members and they're going to have a phenomenal month. So, but I focused on the skill instead of the directorship. So that's kind of a shift I'm making. Does that make sense? Yep. Then when when they're rocking out 8, 10, and 12, and 15 parties in a month, and a lot of this is virtual going along with the cooking shows. Like Jennifer, for example, she did a cooking show the other night. She came home, she's like, I booked 4 more January shows, now I'm up to 15, 4 more virtual shows from the cooking show. So she's doing a combination of both. She's like, now I'm up to 15 shows, I gotta cut it off and put everybody else in February. And but now, when you have people that have these show schedules, then you can promote people to director. Does that make sense? So that's a big shift I'm making this year, that I'm really shifting my focus. So I feel like that if you ask me what the key to developing directors is, the first thing I would tell you is show schedule. They need the skills to carry that good show schedule. The second is then working with them to teach them how to recruit, or just to teach them how to ask, okay? I'm big on just ask. All you gotta do is get the interest, and then I'll do the 3-way phone call with them. I do a lot of 3-way phone calls with people that are working to promote to director. And it's only like a 15-minute phone call unless the person just has a lot of questions, and then it might go 20 or 25 minutes. But just do a simple 3-way phone call with them. That way that person doesn't have to feel intimidated with recruiting and feel like they have to know all the answers. All they have to do is get them on a phone call with me. So I do a lot of that with people working towards director. These are just a couple of other things that they're little things, but they do play a big part in a director promotion. The month that I have someone working towards director, we do a recipe night exclusive for them, okay? So say this is Kim's on my team, this is Kim's month, and everything's kind of coming together, and we need another recruit or 2, but everything's coming together for her. So I do a recipe night this month, if this is the month that we're targeting, just for Kim and her team, not for my team. Just for Kim and her team. I'm gonna come to Kim's house and do it. She's gonna invite her 2 consultants she already has, and they're all gonna invite people. So Kim's gonna invite friends, past hosts, everybody. And I'm coming to do just a recipe night, just a fun recipe night. But what that does is it builds belief in Kim that I believe in her enough to set a night aside in my calendar to come to her house just for her and her team. And then she gets people there, and then usually what happens is not necessarily the recruit leads that come that end up signing up, it's people that she never dreamed would want to join her team because they just go to a cooking show. It's just a recipe night and a lot of fun. The other thing that I do if the recipe night doesn't work logistically, because maybe her team isn't there, is to go to their one or two of their shows that month. In the month they're going to promote. Go to a show with the person that's going to promote, because something magical happens when there's two consultants in the room at a show, okay? So, I mean, and if I have a director in a slump sometimes in recruiting, I'll go to a show with them. We will always get more leads at that show to join the business than I ever would have gotten on my own. So, or that person would have ever gotten. So recruiting is easy when you have two people at a show. So the other little thing that I do, that's just a little thing, but it can make a big difference in a promotion. When, Priscilla that just promoted our team, she's the first true virtual director on our team that had never done a cooking show. And so her consultants that kind of signed the last week of the month, we needed to get them active. So instead of waiting around a lot of time to teach them how to run a virtual party, she and I ran their virtual grand opening weekend for them. So we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have a week to run a virtual party, so we did a grand opening virtual weekend to introduce their business to everybody. So we set up the party and just ran the show and did like a 24-hour, 48-hour show, whatever we had enough time to do. So, and then that got her last people qualified. So that's an easy way if you're trying to get people qualified, just to boost, to get more people active in the month, near the end of the month, run the new consultants that are coming in, run a virtual grand opening for them. So that's the easy way to do that. And Becky, Ishi, and I are good friends, and we were having a conversation the other day, and she said to me, and this really hit home to me. We were just having a conversation about coaching and stuff, and she was just telling me something that she had said in a coaching call before, and I'm sharing this because this is what I'm now saying to myself. She was saying, like, if you make a plan and you this is your goal and this is what you're going to do, and you're just going to kind of see how it goes, and in a couple months, see if that worked out, see how you got there, see how you did with that. And at the end of those couple months, if you're not where you want to be, then she said to one of her people on a call one time, well, now let's just be clear so that we both know, if you don't work your plan at the end of this time period, if you say to yourself, well, this just didn't work out. Let's just be clear. Well, we both know that it wasn't it that didn't work, right? It's you that didn't work. And like, I'm telling myself that, like, when I have a goal, I can't just like set this goal and then get there and say, oh, well, that didn't really work. It will clearly not be it that didn't work. It will be me that didn't work. Does that make sense? So that's something I'm telling myself over and over this year. When I set that goal and put that out there, I'm the one responsible for figuring out the steps it takes to get me there, putting those steps and implementing those steps and taking those steps and doing those steps. So I can't just get there and say, oh, well, that didn't really work out, because it wasn't it that didn't work. It was me that didn't work, okay? So I'm holding myself responsible to that. So those were some of my tips, and I wanted to leave a few minutes for questions, because there's so much I could tell you that we do about working to develop directors, but those are some of the key things that I think have had a big impact on director development in our team. I can already see that question, yes.
So 6 weeks to success, we will get that program how?
It's in Evernote. I'll give it to Nancy Joe. I mean, I'm telling y'all, I owe Jennifer Courtney. She not only is a PowerPoint presentation, so I'm doing it through Zoom, okay? So you just open Evernote. She has 6 PowerPoint presentations already done. It's all in one Evernote. Not only that, you can watch her recorded phone call with her team, because the YouTube link is right in the Evernote, so you can watch it. Then you just get on Zoom, screen share on Zoom, and you have the little PowerPoint professionally done that you just scroll through during the little 30, 45-minute conversation with your team, and you just read it. I mean, it's all done. Homework's done, everything's done.
Second part B of my question. You said, which I think is brilliant, and I'm so on your page. Instead of you leading that, maybe you group some other directors together.
Yes, because why do I need to? It's all done.
You have downline. How many directors, having done it, works well? So it works well with 2 directors team?
I think it depends on how many people they have taking it.
All right.
Because I think that, like 6 to 10 people is good. If you get more than that on Zoom, to me, it's the connect. I mean, because it's all about building relationships. And another thing to do when you run a course like this, you guys probably all do this, but I think it's important to create a Facebook page to go with the group. So like, I try to do a lot of team building in that Facebook page. So like, before the phone call, I took, and y'all will recognize this from my old director program, but I took like a candy bar picture and put it on the page, and I said, everybody introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and what's your favorite candy bar. And they got to do that on the page, so we didn't have to take time on the call to do that. They got to see each other interacting and sharing, and the more you can do to share in that Facebook page to get them to build relationships during the week. One of the assignments that Jennifer Courtney had in that first call was for everybody to fall in love with their products again, use them during the week. So their assignment was to take pictures of what they cooked during the week and put on the Facebook page. And so I had this little image, and I'll share this too. It says, hey, good looking what you got cooking, and I put it up there to remind them to post their pictures. So they were going crazy all week posting what they cooked in the grill pan, what they cooked in the rock crock, and all this stuff. And then they were like, oh, invite me to dinner, and they were going back and forth with each other. And the one girl was really sick that weekend, and she said, not much cooking going on at my house, but here's what I cooked for my kids. And she took the picture of the little frozen pizza and her stuff. So, but they had a ball with that. Yes.
One, are you creating a separate Facebook group?
Just for those people. So called 6 Weeks of Success, and just those people are in that group.
Are you recording it so that if they miss it, they can watch it?
Yes and no. I don't make it known that I record it, because we set a time that, like I'm working with 6 people, we set a time that those 6 people can do it. But of course, I understand that things come up. So if there's an emergency, then I can record it, yes. But I don't say, oh, all calls will be recorded, so if you can't make it, you can get on the recorded call. The beauty of making the group work is the relationships that go in while they're in Zoom, because Zoom is like sitting around a coffee table working together. But if you're not there, you're not building that relationship. So I try not to make a big deal about recording it. But yes, I can record it. Any other questions?
You said that you sometimes go to the show when they're close to promoting to the director. Do you play a role in that? Do you
Good question.
say
They
something?
do their entire show, the bookings, they do everything until we get to the recruiting part. And then I really build them up that I'm there because they're one of the top people in our team. They're in line for a big promotion, so we're doing some training together tonight. You know, she is a superstar and gotten off to an amazing start and is in line to promote this month. And so I'm here just doing some training with her, and we want to invite you to, you know, take a look at joining her team tonight. And so then we do the ticket activity together. I have her share her story real quickly, and then we kind of bounce back and forth and answer questions. If it's a question that she can easily answer, I have her answer it, but then I'll, you know, like some questions I'll take. And with us working that ticket activity together, I mean, everybody in the room's ready to sign when we get done. I mean, it just, when you have 2 people doing that, so that's the part I take, is the recruiting activity part. Any other questions? Okay. Thank y'all.